Thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm going to use The Art of Love Tarot by Denise Jarvie, artwork by Tony Carmine Salerno. There's the full box, but if you want that information, there it is. The website for this one, I want to say it's Blue Angel. BlueAngelOnline.com. It's there at the bottom. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. Supportive Oracle Cards, Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish. Hopefully you can see the spelling for that too if you want to. This is illustrated by Jessie Reish, which is at the top of the orange. And the website is at the bottom, hayhouse.com. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. And finally, I use the Dungeons and Dragons dice is what they are. They're metal. It's there. It's Amazon.com if it focuses. If it decides to focus. Is it doing it? Maybe. I use the 20-sided one for the Major Arcana. There's 21 in the Major Arcana, but I just use the 20-sided dice. For the Minor Arcana, I use these 4-sided dice to decide the suit, and then I use the 12-sided dice for which number card, which only goes up to Knight, but still, that's how I use it. Anything else? I think we're good. All right, hopefully that helps. And let's get into your reading. Hello, Pisces. Thank you for tuning into this week's read. These reads are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Pisces? These are attractive cards. I forget that sometimes. Alright, so you had one random card popping out. I don't think what's happening is bad, by the way. Which, I feel like whatever the situation is, are you fearing it? Or I don't really think it's bad. There's an energy around it, though, where it feels like, it kind of feels like, well, I did that, so this is happening. Or I haven't done that, so this is happening. This is going to go well. I see good energy coming in here. But there might be a little twinge of like, oh, that's not good, or I should have done this, or there could be a little bit of self-loathing. If that's happening, be aware of it. I'm sure it can't be happening for all of you, but it's kind of like the path I took got me where I am, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I'm out of balance, or I don't feel quite where I want to be. And there's a change about to happen with that. Small steps forward need to happen to get this on track. Small steps forward. We need to start with small steps forward. Whatever this is, it's kind of like there's something with the energy being a little out of balance. You've had better times in the past in the same subject, and it's been in the past. It's just kind of like it's had its own momentum almost. Whatever you were doing, you just kept up with it. It's had its own momentum. Currently, it seems like it's feeling out of balance to me. It's like it just feels. If this reading is hitting, whatever the subject matter is, could be love, could be work, could be even like keeping your house up to date. It could be anything, whatever it is. Maybe you're a writer, you're not keeping up with what you normally do. It feels out of balance, whatever it is. It could be a passion you have, out of balance. It can come back in. The thing is, we don't want to jump into a run. Start going in with slow steps. Bring slow steps back into the situation to rebuild this connection. It's still there. It's just like we got to be nicer. I feel like it's kind of like whatever it is. So for example, maybe you're a writer. I'm going to use that example. And you're used to like when I'm where I'm supposed to be. Maybe you write for 2 hours. Maybe when you're in the middle of it, you can write for 2 hours a day. Maybe you write a little bit in the morning, a little bit during the day, and a little bit at the end, and it averages about 2 hours a day. But currently, you're just like out of that rhythm, and when you're like, but I can do that, and when I do that, things are the best, and you just keep trying to jump back into that level. that's going to be a problem. I just feel like it's hard to like, maybe you could do it once or twice, maybe 3 days in a row, but then it's like it starts to become more of a problem. Then it's kind of like I feel like I have to do it versus I want to do it, because I feel like when you're up to the proper momentum normally, or when you used to be, it's just kind of like that's just how you did it because you enjoyed it. So it wasn't that difficult. But now it's kind of like I'm trying to force myself to get back up there. I'm trying to force myself to do something. And even though I'm expecting to love it, the way I'm going at it, I'm not loving it, and I'm confused. I'm like, but that's how I used to do it, and I used to love it. Why can't I love it that way again? And it's not that you can't, but heading into it like full board, it's like if you haven't really worked out for 3 or 4 years and then trying to go back to your normal knock 'em out workout, it's not going to go well. It's going to be very, very difficult. Um, you have this is like a new beginning. This you might start find a different way to do things. So if we're going to use that writing analogy, maybe that's how you did it before. You average 2 hours a day. Maybe going forward, maybe it's not, and maybe it's at different times. Maybe it's just an hour. Maybe it's 30 minutes. The trick is you got to love it again, and it may fluctuate. But it's kind of like you might be doing it at different times. Maybe you used to do it every day, and this next time coming forward, maybe it's every other day. Keeping that in mind. There's a new beginning, like there's this familiarity with a new way of doing something. All right, there's this face down card, and it is the Emperor. Ooh, this is a very... I was going to say it's a very delicious card. I don't know why I was thinking that, but okay. Very delicious. Why not? Why not? Sure, it's a delicious card. Well, I'm getting that kind of like, the way you're going to do it is like really the way you want to do it. It's really exciting. A whole new way of doing things that is, it's very indulgent. Indulgent and doing it the way you want to. And almost kind of like, but I'm used to that pattern. But it's kind of like, well, if I could just do it any way I want, and ironically you can, I would like to do it this way. I almost feel like I'm rebalancing my schedule and not letting people know what I'm doing, and I'm doing it the way I want to. It's kind of like, okay, actually, my job allows flex hours, and if I just tell them I have something I have to do for whatever, if I can get them to do this from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, I have to do this other thing, and they just let me do it. So I start work at 7, I stop at 10, and then I finish off the rest of the day from 1 o'clock on. And they're willing to let me do that. They don't need to know what you're doing, but like from 10 to 1, maybe I'm just like, I'm taking some time for myself. I'm putting in my writing there. Maybe I do just an hour, but it's still like that's where I want to do it. It works out for me at that point. I'm really having a good time. I'm also getting other things done that I need to. I just do the writing first because I really enjoy that, and then if I can, I use the rest of the time to do other things I need to get done. I feel like that's the type of change we have coming in. Kind of like I'm remaking the situation in a way that kind of like maybe everybody else doesn't like it, but they don't have to, and it's just feeling very indulgent. Like this is how I want it to go. That's an analogy, obviously, but it's like whatever this is, it's kind of like if I could make it go, if I could make my day the way I want my day, this is how I do it. And it's kind of like, wait a minute, can I actually make that happen? Because maybe I can. And this is like I'm using the analogy of like a standard 8 to 5 day, 8 to 4:30, whatever. And it's kind of like, oh, I have the ability to move that. Start at 6, take a break from 10 to 1, and then finish it off there. And they'll work with me on that. I don't have to tell them why. Actually, I would like that. That would make my day easier. That would make this, especially if you're in a situation where you can work from home or whatever you got to do. It could work to your benefit. You can make this really a positive thing. Again, that's an analogy, so it doesn't have to be literal. Let's just keep that in mind. Also, you want to celebrate this with other people, because you're going to hit this point where you start this new pattern and you start going into this whole new phase. This new pattern is going to shift into a new phase, but it's kind of like starting an old car. I have to like first get it started. I have to get it to turn over. Then I have to give it a minute to really like, warm up, if you will. It's like where I am, we have winter. So in the winter, sometimes you got to start your car, and then you got to let it warm up, because like otherwise if you start it, okay, that's half the battle. But if you haven't warmed it up properly, you still might not make it very far. So you got to let it warm up a little bit, And that could create this whole new phase, whole new era coming in for you. You want to share this, but I'm getting it's kind of like how you share it. What is not going to work is like completely keeping this to yourself and just working with the knowledge you already know. Do you already have great knowledge? Yes. Do you have ways of furthering this by yourself? Yes, but you're going to miss out on some type of creativity. Even though that seems like a good route, that's not going to give you what you really want. You want to create a connection. So like I'm going to use the writer thing again, which I'm not a writer. But you want to connect with writing groups, writing situations, writing retreats. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine is a writer, and I know that they do that. They go on retreats and they do things and they network with other writers and they get, they work together and stuff like that. So you want to connect at least in that sense. So whatever your happiness is, even if it's cooking, find other people who are a part of that connection. Find other people who are furthering that or learning new things. And you might be surprised how far you can actually take that. You want that community with what you love. It will bring a lot more excitement and joy to you, and it will further whatever you want to come from this. Especially for Pisces. And I'm going to say it, I feel like I say it every time I do a Pisces video. I'm a Pisces too. And I feel like we can get locked inside ourselves, and sometimes we only go so far, and then we kind of need that external connection to really keep that engine going. I feel like a lot of us are that way. There's a lot of different flavors of Pisces, but I feel like a lot of us are that way. That can bring a lot more success here. Now, even though you're networking, you're going to have a lot more of personal success, but you got to network it correctly to where you feel like, and you're going to show that success. It's very odd because you got the 10 of Hearts, which is the 10 of Cups, a very social energy, in my opinion, but it's very selective social, very positive selective social. You're going to get a lot of success here, and when you're ready, it will come forward. But by having that selective social connection that's very positive, you'll nurture this situation, bring this forward, and when you're ready, you'll have it completely stable to bring it forward on your terms so that way everybody can know when you finally stabilized it. So for example, if we're going to use the writing analogy again, maybe you want to write a novel just for argument's sake. You're getting that passion, you're starting it up, you got that, you turned it over, you got it going. And then you start working with other writers, networking with other writers, doing things with other writers, and they're helping you develop and get the connections you need to the point where you actually do develop and create this whole book. And then you get it printed, however you do that, just for argument's sake. It's at that point you're going to be able to show that you're stable, and you'll be able to come forward to everybody else once you're like, look, I was doing this, and y'all didn't know, and look at that. Awesome, isn't it? Super awesome. Excellent, awesome. You'll be surprised how well this goes. Hopefully what this is doing, this reading, is giving you some help moving forward on the passion you want to move forward with, and giving you a way to find that sun card. Helicopter. Why not? Why not? Shaking the whole house. Yes, go right over my house. That's great. I'm not annoyed. No, not at all. Finding your way to this sun card and the healing that you need to make this come to fruition the way you truly want it to, and have it sustained in a way that you keep enjoying it the way you want to. Is there anything else here? The 10 of Wands is here with the Courage card and the environment. Be careful who you connect with. Be selective about who you connect with on this subject. You want other people who are good at going a positive way with the subject. Maybe they're people who need a little of encouragement and they're going to encourage you back. But it does seem like there's a chance that there's people around you that maybe have more of a glass half empty feel to them, if you follow me. A little bit more pessimistic. Be careful of that energy. So, for example, we're going to use the writing thing. For I don't know how many times I've done it. But if you have other people who are writers around you, but they tend to be pessimistic, or they tend to keep finding the downsides and sides of the situation, and like you've connected with these people before and it's been all right, but it's kind of like before you reconnect with them, kind of evaluate that for yourself. Maybe they've been better in the past, but currently their energy is kind of in a downward spiral. This isn't your time to pick them up. Later, when you're up there soaring high, maybe then you could help them come back to the surface or come back up. But like, be very selective. Like, if somebody else is struggling, I don't think this is your time to pick somebody else up. Because it feels like this energy is kind of like you're kind of struggling with it as it is. Go towards an energy that's already doing well, and keep that positive flow that you can have and work with that positive flow. Don't go towards people who like are struggling as it is. This isn't your time to pick them up. I hope that doesn't sound negative because I don't mean it to, but it's kind of like their energy might be too heavy, and when you try to ascend and you try to help them up too, it's kind of like if all your energy can pick up is 50 pounds, and you're already picking up 40, and then you try to pick up your 40 and their 30, they're going to end up dragging you down, and you're not going to get where you need to go. You're not going to make it up that hill. You can't pick up your weight and their weight and get it up there. So that's why I'm saying it's not your time to help them. But later, when you're already way up the hill and you're already soaring high, and you're like, now I can pick up 150 and bring 150 up the hill. Now I can go back down there, sustain my 40 pounds and add their 30 to it and help them up now, because now I'm a lot stronger because I've gotten my energy back up where it needs to be. Help them then. So it's not like, I hope it doesn't sound negative. It's not like, be selfish. It's not like that. It's like just being aware of like your energy and what you can handle for now. Bring your energy up, and then later, if necessary, you can come back and help them up if necessary. All right, everybody there? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.